With us now after the game is Melrose head coach Ryan Dusha. Coach, first of all, let's recognize Osakis is a legit team, aren't they?
No doubt. They're dang good. And when they shoot, it's kind of cliche-ish for any team. When they shoot well, they're good. But they've got the size. They're physical. They play well together. I mean, you can tell that they, kind of a senior dominant team that's played together for a while. And, Coach Helsher and their staff does such a tremendous job. And, they've worked with these guys since they've been fourth grade on. And you can just tell that. You can kind of tell that synergy. And then the fact that they have physical bodies and they got multiple guys making shots, that's kind of what we said afterwards. We just said, hey, sometimes you got to tip your cap to a team that's just better than you on a certain night.
They did seem to have a very good game plan, didn't they? Especially the first half when they got the ball inside. It's a tough cover for Melrose when they start doing that.
Yeah, it is, because not often do you see three guys on a team for them that can post up and present real problems around the rim. Sometimes you got one and then, everyone plays around them, and you might have two, but rarely do you have three guys. And so we're not exactly matched for that. It wasn't a great matchup for us with that. And our guys were fighting and doing the best we can. But Osakis is just a little bit bigger and a little bit stronger, a little more physical. So that puts a lot of pressure on us. And then when they hit the threes from the outside, you kind of a little bit of pick your poison a little bit. And Osakis had an answer for everything we did.
And, too, with the Osakis defense, a lot of zone in the first half, then they switched it up in the man-to-man in the second half. What was giving Melrose more problems? Which defense, really?
Yeah, they both presented problems, and they both somewhat acted similar in the sense that their man was a physical switching man, but then their zone was a matchup zone. So they're always trying to be kind of matched up with people. And so with that, you just have to be able to exploit some mismatches and move and find little openings, which is easier said than done. And I feel for the most part, our guys did a pretty good job of. First of all, we didn't want to turn it over, and I felt we did a pretty good job of that. So to kind of answer your question, probably the biggest thing would have been more of the physicality with that. Them, you get in there and they get knocked off, or you couldn't quite get an offensive rebound. And Osakis does a really nice job of pressuring up on the outside and being physical on the outside, and they kind of funnel you into their physicality on the inside.
Again, when you look at Osakis, Annandale beat them last week. Then they get Albany on Tuesday. They're going through a pretty good grind right now, too, but they sure look good tonight.
Yeah, they're very good. And, we talked about this with Section 6 AA about how good many of the teams are, and Osakis, Annandale, Albany, and Sauk Center, are kind of the cream of the crop. But then you also got, Legacy and Spectrum, that are good. Morris played well too, and so you just got to be ready to go and kind of get the feeling that, when we get down to any game here or into March, that really there's going to be a lot of good games, and a lot of people can beat other teams, which is fun. For example, if Osakis plays like that tonight, they're going to be a tough out. But if we're fortunate enough to see them again down the road, then we would feel that we give them a great game.
So for Melrose, is it okay for you to go back-to-back here, kind of forget this one and get back at it tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so, and that's a little bit with basketball too. I'm not sure how football coaches do it, right? Because they play on a Friday or on a Saturday or Sunday. Then they just sit in their laurels all weekend or for 3 days, and they got to stew about it and then get ready for the next game. Where basketball, this rapid-fire stuff, that was another message to our guys is, hey, this should hurt, this should sting, but we got a big one tomorrow, right? Montevideo's coming in here, and Montevideo is very good, and we got to be ready to go with that because they're a very talented team as well.
Again, it's just the whole makeup of the West Central Conference. Every night, and you can see like tonight, you got to be ready, don't you?
Right, and one team hits shots, the other team doesn't, or there's turnovers, or there's foul troubles, or even injuries, or something like that. It makes a difference. And so I feel, though, that our non-conference prepares us for our conference, and our conference prepares us for our non-conference, right? So the fact that we're playing Montevideo tomorrow, probably the best practice that we could have for Montevideo is to play a team like Osakis.
I'm going to see you again on Tuesday. We'll talk after the Minnewaska game. I'll be down there. But I also want you to touch on here what's going to happen on the 19th. Can you go through that for us?
Sure, yeah. So on Friday, January 19th, when we play Sauk Center here, we're going to have a reunion of the 1970 through 74 teams. All 5 of those teams went to the state tournament with the state champions in 71 and 74. So we invited all those players and coaches back from that time. So we're just going to Coach Kiefler was very nice about this. Before the national anthem, we're just going to recognize those players that are here in attendance that day. And so it's going to be nice to get that together. We did that 10 years ago at the 40-year reunion of the 74 championship game. And so we're hoping to have it. It'll be a great crowd. Should be a great crowd and getting as many of those people back as possible. And then the next day we have our alumni tournament. So it should be a great weekend of basketball.
Do you have any idea on how many guys are going to show up?
Yeah, right now the RSVP list is about 10 that have come back, including Coach Dave Linehan, who's from Missouri, was a coach on the 71 team. I would expect a few more to kind of trickle in. We were hoping for about 15 people coming back, so it should be a fun night.
Yeah, all right, real good.
All right.
That will be a fun night.
It will be.
And how's that alumni tournament going?
Well, we'll see. We got 4 entries right now, some sprinkle in, and then the cherry picking about who's on which team, and I thought he was on my team. That happens. That's always a fun time.
Well, that's the thing. Melrose boys basketball, we love our hoops, don't we?
Yep, they come back, they ask about the team, and I know my guys, our players that I have work at, they get sick of me telling stories because I just sit there and like, oh, we got a story about this guy, and we got a story about this guy. See that guy over there? And can you believe it? He was all conference? He doesn't look like it now, and some of that stuff.
Well, it's kind of fun, though. You see former Dutchmen who now have their boys playing. So, right?
What's that?
I mean, I'm just saying,
Oh, yeah.
you see some guys come back
Absolutely.
now. I see them in the stands here, and
Yeah.
it makes you feel really old.
Oh,
but,
for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about it is any of these small towns, or just towns in general, right? It gives a sense of pride. It gives a sense of connection. Basketball, sports, activities, they do that. They do that. And a school has always been an epicenter for a community, and ours is no different.
All right.